Alright. Hello everybody, and welcome to Shoot the Breeze episode 1. Pretty much chill event, chill segment interviews all around for both you and me. So, for my guest for tonight is a man who I consider a little brother to me, even though he's 6'4" over my 5'10" height. And he's also the organizer to the Mythic University / Academy. Either or, aka the VRC University RP. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is ChaoticFireBlaze. So, Chaotic, first question, how the hell do we meet? You accidentally mute yourself.
That was weird.
Anyway, go ahead, it's all good, but anyway, how the hell do we meet?
I believe we met through, actually, Saya. We met through Saya, I believe... Oh, that was a while back.
Yeah, this was like late 2018.
Because it was like it was Saya, you, Ello, and, a couple of people that we were just hanging out, and I had met you through there.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly where we were, but I remember who it was through, I should say.
Oh, yeah, we met for a lot of different other people on hand, but for the most part entirely, I just want to say that overall, I mean, through that or so, we just met, like, more people on hand, even if those people have stuck together, like you, me, Langle, Saya.
Yeah.
Three others for that type of friend group on hand, but hey, we're still going strong, so that's all that is for it, for the most part. But,
it shows you who the true loyalty is.
pretty much on hand, but, also something else, too, this is where we're gonna get down to basically a little bit of a history backstory on hand, so... Your VRChat origins. How did you come up into this digital world or so?
Oh, like how I started VRChat?
Yeah, how did you start VRChat? And just basically could be like names in general or.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say originally I hadn't heard of VRChat until literally one day I was browsing Twitch and I found someone by the name of Pergy. Saw them playing it, watched them play it for a couple times. I didn't, just join in right off the bat, but watched them play it a couple times. I was like, you know what? This looks interesting. How much is the game? Saw it was free, and I was like, I've got to hop into this. And then, I hopped in. I met Pergy. Was the first one that I had met. And, yeah, it's been uphill since then.
I was going to say, do you remember what year it was?
I met a bunch of...
Was it like...
Oh, that was, I believe, I want to say mid-2017.
Mid-2017. Okay, yeah, you've been around quite a lot.
Yeah, I've been around too long. Desktop for 3 of those years.
I mean, desktop for 3 years, but hey, it's been improvement. I mean, you up and coming, and behold,
big time. Oh, big time.
Got hands.
It's all meet new people, meet all new friends, and everything like that.
Definitely, definitely.
It was Pergy who introduced me to this game.
And I will say, for that or so, can I actually get a backstory behind your name or so, ChaoticFireBlaze? Because that's actually a very specific kind of name on hand, especially, you got Chaotic, you got Fireblaze. Yeah. So I assume there's, like, something that came out of that entirely.
Well, I had 2 parts of my name originally. The Chaotic part is, I don't know if anybody watching or anybody like that knows the old TV show from 4Kids called Chaotic. I'm not going to go into detail what that show exactly was, but, that was a show I used to watch when I was younger, and I watched it, all the way till it stopped airing completely. So that's where I got Chaotic from, and then Fireblaze, because, one, my favorite mythical creature is a phoenix. Like, that's what I've always had, if I had a poster of a phoenix, I would have that up, and, that was kind of, the thing that I love to have, so I was like, something besides Chaotic Phoenix, there's got to be something different, and then a friend of mine in real life was like, why not Fireblaze? I was like, that works, honestly. It's a similarity, so put it together, and I've had this name for a while.
I mean, for the most part, it rolls off the tongue better. ChaoticFireBlaze. Like, it rolls off well in the sense that basically it could definitely be, I guess, an interesting name in like D&D or so, or just basically be a name.
Exactly. It rolls off, and it's unique. I didn't want to go like... I had ideas in my head for a name but like so many others had it, in a variation or another. So I was like, I want something original, something that's, mine. And then that name came to fruition.
Well, there we go. And and pretty much you know where my name came from entirely. Which we talked about this so much, but for the most part,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, nothing creative about it. It just came from a middle school idea in astronomy. But so, but let's talk a little bit about hobbies on hand, because I know outside of this game entirely, I know first things first. I know you do a lot of D&D. I know that you do
D&D
extensive.
is one of them. I've done D&D since I was about 10, 11, 12-ish when I started first playing.
Jeez.
I've been doing it for years and years on end, thanks to my uncle on that one. Let's see.
I can imagine you have like a pad of no. I can imagine you had like a bunch of pad of books on hand, or basically like just different stories you had on hand, as well as basically just kind of like scenarios and stuff. It's almost like a Goosebumps book, where basically you just flip the page or something, and then bam, there it is for this kind of scenario.
Yeah, basically, I've had books upon binders upon papers of just D&D stuff over the years. That's definitely something. And then, like I said, like the session you guys are in that I'm hosting, that's the first time I've actually written my own story. So,
are you at least enjoying it for the most part? But like story.
Yeah, I love writing that story. It's fun to send you guys to that. It's awesome. And then, yeah, D&D is just, it's always that hobby that's like, it's one that you can do. You don't have to have technology all the time to do it. You don't have to have, all kinds of different stuff to have it. All you need is some dice and paper, and you could play D&D.
You can do anything with it. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah.
And I also know too, besides different hobbies on hand, just because you and I can relate to this. This is how much of a kindred spirit me and Chaotic had, basically. Just because even if I don't play Magic Gathering or anything, there's one thing you and I can get at each other when we have in common, basically, and that's Pokemon.
Oh yeah, me and you with Pokemon.
We joke about it so much. We joke about it so much in the sense of different references on hand, as well as just basically just being like nutty as can be with like different.
Hey, for alligators are great Pokemon, I'm telling you.
I know you enjoy that. You enjoy that with a little bit of Moda. I mean, that's how you are. I don't know how the hell that even came out of that. That's what I'm wondering.
Literally, okay, I can tell you how that came up into fruition. So I always had the song on, SoundPad and whatnot, just as a meme out of random. Whenever, if I saw something that suited it, I'd play it. The one day that I was just browsing Avatar Worlds, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna look through these. Oh, there's a Pokemon one. Let's see what's there. Saw the front. I was like, oh, this looks actually decent. Hopped into it, and I was like, yes, this fits so well.
This power, I can feel the shit posting coming right through me.
Now, I had gotten that avatar when the favoriting system wasn't even a thing yet. So I had to keep that world in my mind. I was like, okay, if I ever want to be that, I need to go to that world and get it, then go back.
Oh, man.
I literally I think I had a post-it note that had the world name on it, so that way I could type it in and go to it when I was ready.
And, well, not only that, it's also the fact, too, like, I just want to say also the fact, too, it's that ever since then, or so, if I hear Moda, the first thing I think about is just basically you and that for alligator avatar.
Yes.
Like, oh, Lord.
That's my goal.
Like, oh, Lord, he coming. I see you crouching.
You hear Moto out of random. It's like, where's the for alligator? I'm looking for blue.
And it's just like our own inside joke with you and me and a couple of other people, just because we get it. We just get it because of that.
I love the reactions doing that. It's so much fun to do. It's just like you get the reactions that make you laugh, and then you get the ones that are like, no, please, no.
Jesus. Oh, boy.
It's amazing.
But let's go ahead and change up a little bit, and let's talk about RPs in general. And the thing about it is, I know I wouldn't say you're not much of an RPer in a sense, are you? Or just basically only on selective choices?
I'm on selective choices.
Because
it has to be an RP that I've known for a bit, or I've read about that's good. Like, I don't just go into willy-nilly like, oh, there's an RP, let me go to it. I've got to see that it's got good potential in my head. It may have good potential on like some on the outside, but in my head, I should say.
Well, okay. I would assume you would also have it where basically like certain RPs will basically be a little bit flexible, where basically everybody could be on equal grounds with it, where basically you can understand how to interact with one another and not like just like trying to interact with somebody and they're already on this high plane here. For the most part.
That's definitely a key. One of the ways for me joining, I was like, I'd like to be on an equal level with everyone and be able to socialize and do stuff with others that are the same way as I am.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily the same way, but the same social level, and not have to be like, oh, this is the leader. I'm yikes.
Yeah. Well, not only that too. It's also like, you just want to be able to do as well as, because I know how you are as well as I am, basically. You just want to be able to crack a few jokes with one another, too. Like, just be able to, like, if you see it, just kind of, like, give, like, a little small nudge in there or so.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the RPs that, like, they allow you to crack the jokes, and there's, there's jokes that can be had, but it's also got the serious moments. I don't like for me personally, I don't like the RPs that are, strict this. If you break character, you're out. If you're this, you're out. It's like, that's not creative. In my head. It might be to some others, but in my head, I'm like, that's not creativity. Creativity is letting people to have a little bit of freedom. Yes, have that storyline side, but, have a little bit of fun in here and there.
No, I feel you. And, well, none of that, too. I just got to ask this question, too. Do you think when RP is, like, way too serious or so, it makes it hard for, like, you, the person, to enjoy it, as well as, say if you're trying to entertain, like, your own chat or anything, or just kind of, like, entertain it for the people around you? It makes it a little bit harder for you entirely, especially with all that pressure on it.
Yeah, with me, if I see like an RP is way too serious and whatnot, it kind of it gives me the lack of motivation to want to even go there, because it's just like, well, I know if I go there, it's going to be, so strict and so that's like, that's not fun for me. I like to see the creativity. I love good story, but I love to see creativity at the same time.
No, I understand. And to kind of dive right more into the RP or so, let's talk about the Mythic University. Since I'm part of it with you anytime Friday or so, yeah. What would be the backstory behind that entirely, or so? I mean,
what do you mean the backstory?
Like for example,
how the idea came into fruition,
how the idea came into fruition. How did it basically form to basically have a season 1, and then basically add like little puzzle pieces little by little as it kind of continues to goes along now, because we're already at season 5.
Yeah. Basically, what I saw when it was the first VR University, before it actually had an official name by season 3, which that should have been so much sooner. You were there with it. There was a thing called there was VR High. That kind of had the starting basis. It was a good RP. It went on for a while. It was like, okay, there's a school setting. There's this different things like this that came to fruition. And then, events happened to where it wasn't really a thing that I could do much anymore. And it was like, okay, that was fun. I enjoy doing things like that. Is there something I can do that's not, having to find one that's, another high school or one that's like that? And the fruition came to mind. I'm like, what about a university? We just went to high school. Let's go step up and see where that can go. And then, originally brought it to, I had that idea in my head and brought it up to a name I'm not going to mention here. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, we treat him like Voldemort, basically. He who should not be named.
Voldemort, who shall not be named. But I brought it up to him, and originally me and him were the ones that got that started. We got it flowing through. Through season 1, it was like, okay, this is that, but unfortunate circumstances came along to where he kind of had to go.
Yeah, he had to step down.
I took over as the leader of it, and it's like, now that it's just me, I can kind of provide now the more creativity that the other person kind of wasn't allowing. What can I do to make it last? What can I do to make it different? And then we've done story after story, villain after villain, and it is to where it is today.
Oh yeah. And not only that, or so what makes it different is the fact that basically with VR High or so, there was like these arcs that would happen or so. Like season 1 would be somebody's arc. season 2 would be like somebody's arc. At certain points, it would be split with like
Somebody's arc,
It'd be split for like 6 episodes to 6 episodes. Be like, this 6 episodes is this person's arc.
Right.
This 6 episodes would be this person's arc. With this one, it's just basically, everybody has their own arc.
Well,
Mythic
VR University did start at, it did start as, this person's arc was this season. We did that, I think, for like 2 seasons. But then it was the point where it's like, okay, in order for us to get anywhere, and nobody else seems to being able to do their story stuff, why not make it to where there's a school arc, like the school itself has a basis, but everyone has the chance, to push in their own motivation and push their story forward. So that's, why now it's, the school has its story and its villain, and other people have their stories that they can revolve around, or they can add in, or they can, do whatever they want to create, their character's story.
No, I understand. And the one thing I would want to take out of this is basically, if you had like a different idea for an RP, say basically, the University RP goes on for as long as it can go until finally, you have to shut it down and everything. Would you actually have like a different RP in mind or so?
I actually, there is one RP that I've been kind of in my head for a little while that I've been wanting to do, but I'm waiting for, because I put myself to a limit of 3 RPs. So I'm waiting for, one of them to kind of go on to, where I can't really do it anymore. And I got a feeling with one recently that might not be going on much at all anymore.
No, I got you.
No, that once I do that, I want to create well, it was kind of in the way of before, but I want to create like a kingdom. Or like a medieval RP.
I know what you're talking about because
I've seen RP or like a medieval RP. Like there was one that it was kind of started for a little while, but then it seemed to completely die out. I want to create, either like a kingdom RP or something medieval like that, or maybe I might create something that's based off. It's either going to be a kingdom RP or something that I'm going to base off of D&D style. You don't have to roll your dice to do everything, but you go through D&D like lands. You go through the regions. You fight the monsters and stuff like that.
No, I feel you. And it makes sense. It'd be a different aspect of it, because I know there's certain RPs who do the D&D dice roll, where basically, depending on what the action is, they'll just roll a dice just based on it, or so. And you know how it is, when it's basically it's ones and it's critical rolls and everything. So
yeah. Well, the idea I had in my head, it wouldn't be based off the dice roll. The D&D side of it would be more of, you would be your character. Obviously, I'd have to develop a system that, because in VRChat it'd be very hard to do dice rolls. Everyone doing dice rolls. So I'm gonna try to develop a system to where there's a way we can do it D&D style without everyone having to have a dice.
I see. That'll be an interesting take on it, like a different kind of way for it, or so. Just get it rolling. Let's talk about the current VRChat presence right now, compared to basically what it was since your time, like mid 2017 to where it is now. How do you think of it for the most part? Because I know there's a lot of changes, a lot of difference compared to that one and this one, and just basically, its own heap and help of problems here and there with how things have been handled.
In my head, VRChat has had, it has had its downs. There's a lot of times where, there's something not working, or this is bugged, or that is bugged. But in my head, there has been its ups too. Like there's a lot of things in the VRChat now that wasn't there in 2017, 2018. Like, for example, the save world systems. There's the, saving avatars, having public avatars on a list that you could just grab right there. Back in like 2018, 2017, if you wanted that avatar again, you have to remember what world that was, because they didn't have a recent option.
Oh yeah.
So, you had to remember what that world was, go to that world, get it, then come back, and then if you wanted to change back, you have to go to the world you found it in and change that. And the only way you didn't have to do that is if you made your own avatar, obviously, but
yeah.
Even then you couldn't have as many created avatars as you can now. I think the max was like 8 that you could have.
Yeah, now it's 16
created.
Yeah, it's now 16 at the moment.
No, not public. Your own created.
Your own created.
You can only have like 8 on your list. You can only have like 8 on your list. before it started, you make a new one, that oldest one gets, pushed off.
I actually
So
did not
it's
know
like,
that. I actually did not
it
know
was
that.
like 8.
Okay. That's weird, because I did
It
not
was
know
a
that at
pain in
all,
the
just
tail.
because no, I just didn't know it just because of the
Yeah.
fact that basically I've actually uploaded so many Iron Man models up there that basically I didn't even know there was a limit. Like, I actually went past 8. Didn't even know there was a limit at all. I mean, then again, this was like...
that might have been a 2017 thing, and then
Yeah,
2018 maybe,
because
I don't know.
I started November 2017, early December 2017, so then maybe there might have been a change with that. Between your time and my time.
I remember they updated in 2017 to a new system, and I think that's when they got rid of that. But yeah, the other stuff was there. Like I said, VRChat has had its has had its downs. Where it's like, there's a bug this, the server's doing this, or there's something that's doing whatever. But it has had its ups. Like, there has been things that have definitely been improved compared to what it was back then.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the one thing they still need to work on is basically their coding process, especially when it's a giant server, probably one server.
That's one of the downhill ones. Back then, they used to not have so many issues. You used to be able to connect to a world, be there, and there wasn't really, the issues that they have nowadays. That's one of the downhill things. They need to... If they could get their coding back to that, to where it wasn't so bad... That'd be amazing, but I don't know if that's even possible.
I think it's possible. The problem is that with how popular VRChat is, there's so many people on it that once you apply a patch or so, with how many people are on it or so, because there's a difference between beta testing and basically putting out there in the public with so many more people on hand. Like, you could beta test and stress an update, but when you put it out here or so, that's when the true stressing begins, because...
Exactly.
Certain updates on hand can easily break with a matter of just how many people are in one room, or how many people have switched an avatar in one room.
Yeah.
So, but another topic I would like to talk on here, just because you and I can relate to this, just because we make so many references to it. Not Pokemon. Let's talk wrestling. Good God.
Oh, where do you want to begin with it?
Let's just go back. Let's just go back in time a little bit. When did you first start watching wrestling?
First year that I watched it. I'd say for me it was 2000. I think it was 12. 2012 that I had started watching it. Good. So I watched that when I was younger. So it was like, that was always something that always fascinated me for some reason. I don't know why. I know it's fake, but it's just entertaining.
It's just basically, I think I know why too, because it plays into, how you are with it, organizing and everything with like RPs. It's just storytelling. Yeah. You enjoy the storytelling for it.
It's basically a story, and it's a
storytelling.
WWE is a wrestling story. It's what it basically is, because you'll get one champion one day, the next week it's this champion, then they fight to the death, do this or whatever it is.
And the reason I asked this is just because I didn't think I would bump into somebody else who used to be part of a wrestling community, just because. Before I ever joined VRChat, I was part of a wrestling community or such. And the thing about it is...
I'm still technically a part of it. I'll watch it.
I mean, I
still keep up to date with it.
I keep up with mostly GIFs here and there of what's happening here and there, or what's going on. But when it comes to basically sitting down watching like an entire episode or so, I can't do that anymore. I don't have the patience for it. And plus I got other things to do.
I usually end up watching, if I watch it, I usually end up watching it as I'm like just laying down relaxing, and I'm just like, there's something on TV, let's go to that and watch it.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'd rather see a recap and just see what's going on, and then just get it out of the way. Just get it out of the way. Do you just watch any other promotions besides that, or is it just kind of like,
I still do this to this day. I still try to watch, if the people know the wrestling thing, I still try to watch WrestleMania, even when it's live that day. I try to catch that as soon as it's on, because that to me, like, not even for the factor of wrestling, but the way they do, like, some of the ways they introduce themselves and get into the ring, it's so creative, and like the music, it's different than it normally is.
It's the atmosphere,
the way they do it,
just the atmosphere of it.
One with this virus going around, the past one was not so good
for the most part. And not only that, just like for the world of the internet, like say if you just want to watch something different or so, basically, be it like, the current ones we have, be it WWE, AEW, or just want to go basically overseas to like some different indie ones,
Yeah,
like
one of the indie scenes.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
Japan Pro and stuff like that.
different ones out there. Like each one has their own different style of telling a story, but overall,
Oh yeah.
the entertainment and basically I hate to say this, fighting spiritual you get out of that is basically you enjoy the most. You enjoy the
Each
most.
of them
It's
has
just
its different
overall
aspect to it.
different
Each of them has its
aspects.
different aspect.
Different aspects overall or so. And one thing I would also want to talk about too is I know that in your time, we talked about this so much, but in your time or so, I know you're fascinated with cars, or in the sense of basically, I don't know what kind of brand of cars you enjoy, or so. Like if you're the muscle car type, the speed racer type.
I am the muscle car guy.
The muscle car type.
I am a muscle car all the way.
The Heartland muscle car kind of individual. I relate
the
to that.
muscle car / off-road car, I should say. The off-road vehicle
Off-road.
/ muscle. I don't care for the extreme speed vehicles as much.
Yeah, I mostly just get the point A to point B. That's it. Just because once I get, just because I just want to get somewhere, and just somewhere at some time, and just not,
Yeah. Well, generically with me, it's the same. I don't care what car it is usually, but if I can get from point A to point B in style, I'm going to do it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it works. I can already picture basically you being like not like a Jeep Liberty or something, but basically some more off-road vehicle, or basically you would just like go up any like great like gravel roads or something, just going over that hill.
Yeah.
Going full Travis Pastrana or something. I need to point this out to you because I know you know this too, is that you've always had a creative genius when it comes to like different things on hand, be it telling story-wise or basically being able to come up with different ideas on hand. And I know you're still working on trying to be like a video editor too, or just kind of like it's like a past hobby.
It's more of a hobby.
More of a hobby? Okay.
Yeah.
More of a hobby.
It's more of a hobby.
I mean, it can always be one of those things where basically if there's like a game you would normally want to play or so, you can always have like a group session, just kind of like edit it in your own way, because there's no such thing as basically a same style of editing, because everybody has their own different inside jokes, different references, and basically the things that people find funny is pretty much the ones that are going to stick with it. So
cowboy boots are just high heels for men.
Well, there you go. There you go. Oh boy.
I'm not gonna forget that one for a good while.
Not for a good while entirely. No. Oh boy. The reason I ask about the current VRChat presence and everything is also the fact that when it comes down to it, or so, sooner or later people are going to be burned out with how things are. So I mean, keep in mind, it's a good game that brought a lot of people together. It brought a lot of people, no matter who you guys are.
You can't. Yeah. No, VRChat. It's a game that it can, it does have, the way it's going right now, at least it'll burn out. But it is the game that got all of us together. That's how I met, you, Saya, Langle, Pergy, Elo, this is where I met everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, there will be another VRChat-like game in the future that we can continue, but this is where it started. So, I mean, you got to give VRChat props to that.
Well, yeah, give you props to that, as well as basically they created their own competition on hand, even though I've never got a chance to see most of it. Like, basically, for example, with Neos VR or so, it's mostly kind of like it's its own content creator playground, where basically you can create something out of it with your friends.
Yeah.
Or basically, I don't know about Chill Out VR. I haven't tried it, but I assume it's kind of like very similar to this, only just a little bit slimmer.
Yeah.
A little bit slimmer on
I guess
hand.
We'll see what the future brings with those games. That's all we can do. But for now, we have this.
we have this. Yeah. Even though at certain points it's frustrating on how it is, it does wonders for us.
Yeah, it's done. It has done its really good things. It's brought a lot of memories for a lot of people. Because even I'll say it like this way: there's people that got to know a lot of people on this game. That if this game wasn't there, you got to question like where would they be? You know,
Where would they be? I mean,
yeah,
in a sense or so, it also brought us together in the sense of, for example, I mean, some of the people out of all this community or so were able to create a community where basically you got a chance to meet in real life. But yeah,
I mean, shoot, like I met Saya. They live across the whole entire U.S. from me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, this is a way to talk to your friends. You live pretty much on almost the opposite side of the U.S. from me. This is a way that we can hang out, talk, and
I mean, in a way too, you can always organize something like, say, hey, if you just want to go to PAX East, we can always meet up there, or basically PAX South, or just like different things out there, like wherever TwitchCon goes, it's somewhere.
Exactly.
It's somewhere, event-wise and all. I guess in a way, everybody's their own content creator too, when it comes to what you want to build with your friends. And like I said, I actually want to see where you go after this, like say in the sense of like, whatever happens at VR University / Academy, where it would take after this, or basically see where it goes for the most part, where, you know, we follow our dreams wherever it goes. That's the main thing. So.
Right.
But also, too, I have one last question here, and basically now, I know you from personality, that I know you're not really, are you much of a dreamer or so, when it comes to, like, different things on hand or so?
Yeah, I have, like, if I get what you're meaning by dreamer, like, you know, a goal set or something like that.
Yeah, a goal set of what you want to do, especially how to get there, how to work it, and just basically for overall purposes, be able to accomplish that no matter how long it's going to take. Because I'm just telling you, when it comes down to Twitch in general, I know it's going to take a lot of grit and a lot of determination to get there, because it's going to take patience to even be able to create patience.
Patience for Twitch.
I mean, I'd rather build a sturdy staircase than build a flimsy rocket. So.
Right.
But
I got you.
Before we do anything or end it, I would want you to be able to have take the center floor here and just kind of have a look at the camera and just to ask the following question on hand, just because I want to be able to give you the floor, and that's basically, what are your goals and dreams? What is something that you would actually want to let everybody here know from my chat or from the people that came by to support you, and be able to tell them, what do you have that's planned for you entirely? So.
I guess I would say probably one of my ultimate goals would be, I want to be the best story writer and / storyteller that I can be. And, games like this, that I do, interactions that I do with so many people, I guess would be this. When I do games like this and I, do RPs with everybody, hang out with everybody, it kind of gives me that influence and gives me, in my head, the chapters to want to create more story and, meeting different people, seeing different things, doing different things. It gives me the different variety that, I want to create a story based off this. And, that's just one of my main goals, is just, I'd love to create a story off of this. I'd love to find a way to write a book, like, heck, even if I publish a book, to write, like, this is VRChat, these are people, these are, different things. It's weird to explain in this way. I'm better writing stuff down, but yeah, that's my main goal, is to just become the best storyteller / best writer that I can be.
Well, I will say, you've definitely got a long way to go for it, but I will say you're doing a good job of it. I've seen it.
Oh, thank you.
I've seen it promotes, and I've seen it in basically storytelling for VR University. I gotta call it a university just because in my own head I see too many academies.
Yeah, it's university. It's the university.
I mean, it makes it different. It makes it different, just to say, like, entirely for me. It makes it different just because you already got Ascension Academy, you already got a Menagerie Academy, and then this us, which. Really, by the way it looks and everything, we're not really that much of an academy. We're just basically a bunch of goofballs for a university.
It's a university.
It's a university. But yeah, I know you definitely will be able to get it for the most part. I know you will.
I'm trying every day to create a story. Always in my head, I will always have a different chapter or a different page to write in a story.
I had one more. That was the last question, but I had one more thing. You ever thought about being a writer?
I actually have. I don't have the steps right now to do it, but I do want to. Whether I type it out or I write it out, I'd like to create a story.
All right. Alrighty. Well, there we go. There we go, guys. So, pretty much, and that would be the episode 1 of Shoot the Breeze.